Hello, this is Dr. Robert Bouvier with Doctor and You, and you've come to this video to learn a little bit more about what I affectionately call the book. And the book is just basically a 3-ring binder with 8 dividers. But specifically, we use it as a patient personal health record. That's a PHR, personal health record. And it has all the medical information that a patient would need when they go see consultants, go into the hospital, come see you as a primary care person, and really any medical person, home health care, DME, pharmacist, anybody any providers, physicians that this patient would come across, they would use this book. And I'll explain that a little bit more here, and a little bit more about it here shortly. But basically, I want the patients, doctors, providers, home health care nurses, especially the patients themselves, and the staff and people that I work with, to understand how to use this book and how to use this personal health record and why we do it. So, but first, I'm going to give you a little history and why this evolved. About 30 years ago, when I was an intern, I saw a lady bring in a book similar to this, and it had her history in there, and she had a medication sheet. And wherever she went on this floor, she took this medication sheet, and she went to see, probably had, I'm going to say, 8 consultants. And she took this medication sheet that was in her 3-ring binder, this book, and basically said, here's my medications, here's what I do, here's my lab, here's my x-ray, make me healthy. And she basically took her ill health and was able to connect the dots with all these specialists, and she became healthy. It was an amazing thing over about a 6-month time period. She happened to be my primary care patient as a resident in the hospital, and she had all these specialists, and it was a great learning experience for me, and that had always kept in my mind that I would utilize that. It wasn't until about 5 years after that that I really came up with the first edition of the book and started using it a lot with my patients, and it has taken all sorts of forms. It's been exciting lately because now we've been able to take this book and make it an electronic form, so now whenever we make a change in the book, it's automatically distributed to all of the providers, all the physicians that are taking care of her and who are connected in a HIPAA compliant, I'll call it reverse HIE, reverse health information exchange way. So the reason why the book is pretty simple. At discharge, the 2 days after discharge, there's a 94% medication error rate that happens with 94% of the discharges from nearly every hospital I've ever audited. And I've audited hospitals across the United States, the 3 hospitals in our area. Every time I do it, about every 5 years, I take a look at 100 patients. 94% of them have medication error rates for the first 2 days after discharge. It's universal. It's a major problem. And I don't think people really understand that. The movers and shakers of healthcare really fully understand that issue. Where we do this is pretty simple. The first thing that the patient does is they take this book, they flip to the second tab, which is the medication tab, and they put it in front of the doctor who they're seeing, and it's a medication update, changes, and reconciliation list. It's the medication, the dose, and the frequency of when they take it, and there's dates across the top here, and it's just a regular spreadsheet, and the doctor clicks off, or the patient clicks off, to make sure that that doctor understands what medications they're taking. It works great. The doctor can flip to the third tab and get the most current lab work, 4th tab, most current x-ray, 5th tab being cardiac, 6th procedures, outside correspondence, and we leave an extra tab here for DME or home health care people to utilize the same book. What happens traditionally when you go to it after somebody's been discharged from the hospital is they've got their book, they've got the hospital discharge book, they've got some specialist book on there, they've got another folder from some other book. They all have med sheets, they all have stuff. The point of this book, it really comes down to one thing. It's one patient, one record. Let me say that again. It's so important to understand this concept. One patient, one record. In fact, it's our mantra for when we talk about the book. So that's why we do it. So the other parts of the book are pretty simple. We just went through them. I'm going to go through them again. This is a trigger sheet that has days, heart rate and vital signs, temperature, weight. A lot of times we'll put a pulse ox here for COPD patients. We'll put sputum consistency, color, amount, a PFT, and a peak flow. Sometimes a pulse ox. And we have this thing called the quality of life scale. That is a very interesting, has evolved over the years, but we take 3 subjective complaints of the patient and we turn it into an objective, quantifiable, duplicatable, measurable tool to say, okay, 0 is they're basically dead and 5 is they're great, the best I've ever felt. So they take 3 variables in their life, and it could be pain, it could be depression, it could be a spell that they had, for the CVA patient. It could be any number of things that are subjective in nature, and we turn it into an objective, measurable, quantifiable piece that we can actually measure and see how they're doing. And it gets basically everybody on the same page. In fact, part of this whole process is a process called GOSSP, G-O-S-P, get everybody on the same page. So the first tab here is just a contents page with my contact numbers, the lab, the x-ray, hospital, and any other specialists they have in there. Regular contents page for this first tab. This is a to-do list, questions and notes for the home healthcare people, the DME people, communication between me and the patient. Whenever I say something, I know they're going to forget nearly 90% of what we talked about within 2 days unless I write it down. It's very quick. In fact, it's quicker to write it down than it is to say it to people sometimes. And then we've got a timetable here that works. And then, like I said, here's the medication reconciliation sheet, the labs, the x-ray, cardiac procedures, etc., etc. So we take that we take that book and help us communicate and connect everybody together and get everybody on the same page. Here's what I expect. In conclusion here, what I expect is for my staff to totally understand about this concept of the book. And I want you to critique this video and tell me what we can do to make it better. I want my patients to understand this, every one of my patients, especially our transitional care management patients. It's imperative that we communicate well with these other providers and physicians of healthcare that they have. And I really want the doctors and providers and people that we work with, the home healthcare people, the DME people, the pharmacists, the AFC homes, everybody, to understand that this is the book. One patient, one record. Again, that helped you understand a little bit about the book. Again, this is Dr. Robert Bouvier with Dr. and You. Thank you very much.